So we shall have our meeting, our discussion. So we are now in the unit 5 of our lesson, the quantitative analysis. Supposedly this is 4 hours, but we'll make it some minutes lang. Now, what is a good literature test? A lot of you will say, ma'am, the one we did this. I know you will have a lot of examples. Nagre-record na ba siya? Okay, nagre-record naman na pala. Okay, so now, a good literature test measures what it aims to measure. It covers a balanced and appropriate sample areas taught. It should not be random areas or texts that leave the success of an examinee's to performance to chance. It ensures that learners are familiar with the book used. When you make a good literature test, dapat yan is what you have taught. Yan yung ulit-ulit nating sinasabi. Ako gusto ko na i-reiterate sa inyo to kasi when I was in college and also when I was in high school, laging sinasabi ng teacher yan sa amin. Dapat nag-advance reading kayo. 'Di ba? Kasama sa exam, kailangan mo yung advanced reading. It's not good kasi test should measure what you've taught. Sa LET exam, bakit ganun yung mga LET? Kasi yun ang that's the thing eh. They are imagining that you have learned this. Kasi these are the basic concept that a teacher must know. Dapat nabasa mo to, dapat nabasa mo. Kasi it is included in the curriculum. And aside from that, ito yung ituturo sa estudyante. That is why the literature that you're about to discuss nasa K-12. Kaya nga the best way to pass the LET examination is to teach students. You need to teach the students so that you will pass. I mean, you need to that's the difference eh. Pag nursing, 'di ba, hindi nila pinag-exam, hindi nila pinag-fill unless hindi pa nag-exam. But sa teachers, no, because we need to know the best way to review is to review K-12 outputs, which is nakalagay siya sa mga reading materials. Yun. So, yun yung problem. That's why, as a teacher, you need to test what you have taught. Kaya nga, di ba, I saw a meme nakalagay, sir, ano po ba yung test natin? Tapos, nag-reply yung isa, nag-reply si sir, lahat ng tinuro ko. Tapos, ang nagsagot ng bata, asa wala po. Okay. So, dapat hindi ganon. Dapat, this is actually the reason why you need to have a lesson plan. I myself, especially ngayong college, nalilito talaga ako eh, kasi akala ko naturo ka na. Pero minsan hindi pala ganon. It happens, it's normal. Because, especially, nadaanan ko na to, naturo ko ba? That's why you should have evidences. Lesson plan, when you make a lesson plan, chine-check mo. Naturo ko na ba to? Ito yung topic. Anong date ko tinuro to? Okay? So it's fine. You must have a planner. I'm not saying you need to buy a Starbucks planner for that. You could just write it on a piece of paper if talagang tamad ka. Kasi it will be easier for you to know that. O bookmarks also could do. Minsan nangyari na may isang prof, nagturo siya sa isang section. Dahil sa takot yung mga estudyante sa kanya, hinayaan lang niya. Nagturo siya ng iba. Iba ang tinuro niyang subject. I mean, yung same subject, pero different reference ang gamit nila, different lesson. Now, alam ng mga bata na mali. Kaya lang, they're very afraid to approach the professor that what they're teaching is wrong. What he is teaching is wrong. So the following week, galit na galit si prof. Galit na galit siya, bakit daw, hindi man lang sinabi ng bata na mali pala yung tinuturo niya. So that should not happen. Hindi pwedeng ganun. Kailangan si prof, alam mo kung ano yung tinuro mo. Or be honest, pasensya na, nakalimutan ko. Nasaan na nga ba tayo? Okay. Kasi lalo na, if you're already a seasoned teacher, kabisado mo yung lesson. Ganun yun eh, lalo na yung mga may edad na teacher na, yung mga 10 years na silang nagtuturo ng same lesson sa elementary and high school, hindi nagpalit ng libro, kabisado nila yan. The problem is, since kabisado nila, ano-ano sila, yung nagja-jump. Kasi interrelated yung ibang lesson. Okay? So, that is why, you need to know, dapat, kung ano yung tinuro mo, yun. Kaya dapat, similar, for example, you have three subjects. I mean, three sections. Kung ano yung tinuro mo sa A, sa B din, sa C din. Para pag nag-exam si A, B, C, para pareho yung knowledge nila. Same activities din. Hindi pwede na ginawa nito ito hindi ginawa. Sometimes it happens, but as much as possible, hindi dapat. So, you need to be familiar with the books that you use. Kaya which among the statement is true? A test cannot be valid without being reliable. A test cannot be reliable without being valid. Okay, so yan. One of the activities na kailangan nating gawin. Okay? Abstract muna tayo. Here are the different criteria of a good test. Okay, so, of course, meron tayong tinatawag na criteria kung ano ba talaga yung magandang test. Number 1, relevance. Students must be able to perform the task. It should be relevant so that they could perform. Ano ba yung tinetest mo? Pag nagpa-performance test ka, for example, what are you testing? Are you testing the things that you did not teach? Therefore, the students cannot perform that. If the students could perform the test, ito ang tatandaan mo. Kapag hindi ka nagturo, for example, you didn't teach anything, you give the students, bahala kayo dyan, and then they perform. Well, very good. It means, hindi ka nila kailangan. Kasi, kaya nila mag-perform with them. Dapat, yung mga tinuro mo, nakakaya nila din, yung mga tinuro, you're a teacher. So, what you should do is yung mga, bukod dyan kailangan tinuturo mo na perform pa nila, and kaya pa nila mag-advance. Pero kung pag wala kang tinuturo, tapos nakakapag-perform sila, ibig sabihin wala kang, kahit umalis ka. We must not forget, we are teachers. My dear students, when you become a teacher, do not forget that the student needs you. That's why they enroll to your class. May mga matatalinong estudyante, pero you need to touch them. Kailangan mapasunod mo sila. Hindi nila kailangan laging sumusunod, but you need to have an impact to their lives. That's why you should teach. And yun yung, kung ano yung tinuro mo, yun yung lalabas. Sometimes, nangyayari na, maano na lang yan, huwag na kayo mag-review. Ano lang yan papasa kayo kahit di kayo mag-review. Yun yung bagay na hindi daw pala dapat. As a student, gusto ko yan. Kasi syempre, hindi ko na kailangan mag-review, papasa naman pala ako. Pero sa test, hindi pala dapat. Number 2, representativity. They are tasks that represent the real situation. When you were younger, I know, your teacher, kasi ngayon hindi ko naman magagamit yan Bakit ba kailangan to? Yun ang problema, di ba? Ano ba yung mga noun, pronoun na yan Hindi ko na magagamit yan. Lalo na yung mga idiomatic expression, di ba, ang ginagamit yan Bakit ba ang hirap-hirap, nakakalito? Di ba? Minsan ganon. That is why you need to make sure that your students would understand you by putting it in the real life situation. You need to use real life situation so that the students could know, dun pala yun magagamit. Okay. Di ba, for example, sa mathematics, Anna bought 30 melons. Aside from that, she also add 50 mandarin. Di ba, mga mandarin orange. So ngayon, di ba nung una, sabi natin, dami namang binili nito. Pero ngayong pandemic, ang dami na binibili ng mga tao. Diba? Isa yun So, but before, akala natin, hindi mo na kailangan yan. Okay? So, aside from that, for example, yung mga triangles, ba't ba kailangan yun? You need to think, saan ba ginagamit itong mga to? So, yun na gamitin natin. So that, mapag-connect ni student yung mga subject niya. Tayong English teachers, especially yung grades, yung high school level, junior high school level, we are actually connected with Filipino, of course. Number 1 yan, language subject. Araling panlipunan and MAPE, especially the music and PE. Pag nagtuturo na kayo, you will know, Ma'am, na-lesson namin yan sa ano? Na-lesson namin yan sa MAPE, sa music, sa PE. Why? Because connected dapat ang lesson. Ngayon, ang mga estudyante, kapag pareho kayo na tinuturo na, for example, napagdaanan nila sa araling panlipunan yan, they have the idea. Now, use it. Real life situation, use it para meron na silang idea. They will be happy. And also, may engganyo pa sila makinig dun sa kabilang subject. Diba? Sa grammar, ayan, dahil lagi ko sinasabi yung grammar. Ma'am, bakit ba kailangan kasi ng mga ganyan? Ngayon, make something. Hindi yung lagi na lang, lagi ka naka-textbook. Imaginein mo. Kasi ang grammar, especially the tenses of the word, makikita natin yan. Meron siyang parang timeline. If ever na mag-research kayo, may timeline yan eh. Kung kailan siya ginagamit. Now, what she could do is use that, put that in the real life scenario. Pwedeng gawin ng estudyante. And when you discuss grammar, I know some of you will start first by, ako kasi baliktad, scenario siya. Bago ko mag-sentence yung pattern using that kind of grammar, ang ginagawa namin, nag-activity kasi ko. This is actually my point of view. Kanya-kanya tayo, real life teacher. Pag nagtuturo ako na itong tense ng grammar na to, nagkakaroon kami muna ng activity. It's either I will write something on the board or I will demonstrate, I will ask students to do this demonstrate. Now, they know it. Doon pala ginagamit yun. Mamaya, makikita mo yan pag nag-exam ka or quiz. Nagsasalita sila mag-isa. Itong ano na to, pag pumasok, ito yung ginawa ni Mame, nung pumasok si itong itong tense to. Pero ini-stop ni ganito, itong tense to. Pag ganun, ibig sabihin, na-apply nila. At least yun, pag nagkaroon kayo, nagkita kayo ulit, at ikaw ulit ang teacher nila, i-refresh mo na lang. Which is easy. Although sometimes it doesn't happen. Minsan hindi mo nun mahahawakan the following. But, at least sila, every time na ma-encounter nila yung mga part ng grammar, ng tenses na yun, they will have the idea. Kasi ma-apply nila yung sa real life situations nila. Lahat na natututunan nyo sa school, ano sinasabi ng mga lahat na matututunan mo dyan, hindi mo naman magagamit sa toong buhay. Now, if that's the case, then do it, do something. Ilagay mo sa toong buhay. Use the different scenarios para malagay mo sa toong buhay. Diba? Para mas ma-engage yung student na may natututunan ka sa school na pwede mong i-apply sa toong buhay. So, yun yun. Authenticity. The condition and the interaction are meaningful and representative in the world of the individual user to the extent. So, it should be authentic. Hindi siya dapat gawa-gawa lang. So, actually, yung 2 and 3, medyo nagkakaroon sila lang same sila ng meaning. Balance, relevant topics receive an equal amount of attention. Okay. Actually, I will tell you something. This is an honest, sometimes there are lessons that is very hard. Actually, yung active and passive voice, mahirap yun eh. I don't know if it's easy for you. Madali siya, for example, yung normal, I kick the ball. The ball was kicked by me. Okay yun eh, madali. Pero, pag iniba mo na yung mga different verbs, medyo nakakalito. Also, another thing, the direct and indirect quotation. Naku, hirap niyan. Kaya, sa akin, minsan, pag alam ko si bata na hindi nila masyadong gets, kinokontian ko yung ganung part ng exam. 3 question lang, 5 question lang. Pero dapat, equal talaga ang amount of attention. Even if that's your favorite part, hindi dapat puro ganun. Yun talaga yung reality. Kasi nga, para maging balanse yung exam. Validity naman, it refers to the accuracy of inferences and interpretations we make from the result or scores or assessment tool. So, ito yung inferences na interpretation valid. So, during your exam, ang kagandahan kay Google Form, meron na siyang interpretation ng scores. So nakita ko na karamihan sa inyo ay naka 30 to 40 yon. Ibig sabihin, pag ganun medyo nakalahati yung karamihan ng estudyante, ibig sabihin okay. Okay yung bukod na natanggal na natin. We have already removed the different agendas, yung mga hindi dapat, I mean like for example, hindi kayo nakapag-review. So hindi naman kayo lahat hindi nakapag-review, right? So yun yung mga ganon. Ibig sabihin, okay. But, ito lagi yung check. What if naka-zero karamihan? Actually, to tell you honestly, kapag kunwari, sa isang exam, kilala mo naman kasi kung sino yung pinakamatalino, right? So, if the highest of all time, yung laging isa, dalawa lang yung mali, nagkaroon ng 10 mali, medyo ang iisipin mo, kakabahan ka na. Bukod sa PTC ay marereklamo ka, ano mo yun, ay teka. Usually, this person, madali sa kanya to. Pero medyo nahirapan siya. You will check, you will analyze. You will always have a reflection dapat. Bakit mababa score niya? You could ask them. Ayan, kagaya nung nakaraan, I'll ask for feedback. I ask you, nahirapan ba kayo? O, sabi niyo, opo ma'am, nahirapan po kami sa ganito, sa ganyan, sa ganyan. So, dapat yun, babalikan mo. Yun talaga, lalo na sa LM and high school. Okay? So, binabalikan natin. Kasi, hindi siya nagiging valid eh. Kasi ibig sabihin, pag sobrang, yung exam mo, pag lahat bumagsak, hindi dapat nakakatuwa yun. Huwag kayo matutuwa. Ay, magaling ako eh. Hindi makapasa yung mga estudyante ko. Pag ako yung teacher at bumagsak siya, ganun ka pinaghihirapan. Hoy, tanong ko nga sa'yo, what kind of student are you po when you were younger? Alam niyo, ito, lagi kong, sumasama yung loob ko kasi minsan, nakakita ko ng mga ganyang teacher. Nakikita ko din yung TOR nila nung high school, nung college sila at high school. Puro 3, 5, incomplete. Tapos ganun kayo kahigpit sa estudyante. Teka lang po you need to you should teach the things that you're doing. Ha? Baka po mamaya yung puro 3 dito, sila yung mahigpit sa bata. Pag ganun ka kasi, na type of teacher, okay lang eh. Pag kunwari, ikaw yung estudyante na puro 1. Tapos nagturo ka, nag-exert ka ng effort, medyo maiintindihan mo pa kasi, tawag dito, I exerted my effort, hindi ako ganyang estudyante, nagre-review ako. Okay, naiintindihan ko yung mga ganun eh. Oo nga, dapat ganito, ganyan. Pero kung ikaw, nung estudyante ka, bagsak ka, nakikita ka ng mga kasamahan mo, tamad ka magturo. Tapos galit ka sa estudyante pag bumabagsak sila kasi kesyo na turo mo hindi. Tamad ka. Honestly, isa kang tamad na teacher. Wala kang concern sa trabaho. You should not teach. Always remember this. If ganun mentality mo, binabagsak mo yung estudyante, hindi ka na nga nagtuturo, tamad ka, huwag ka na magturo. Maghanap ka na ibang trabaho. Kasi, pag yung estudyante mo, for example, ito yung problema sa teacher eh. Hindi ka nila nakikitaan ng effort ng mga estudyante mo. Wala lang. Kasi hindi ka nagtuturo, wala kang ganyan. Ilan yung mga estudyanteng hawak mo? 30, kunwari. List na yan, kunwari. Average, 30 students. Some of them, they will hate you and they will study. Some of them, a-idolizin ka. Pwede naman palang ganito. Si sir, tamad. Si ma'am, tamad. Pero nagkatrabaho. Ako nga din. Sa ano na lang ako babawi? Diba? Iba-iba yung interpretation nila. Hindi maganda. Kasi kailangan, lahat na naka-front sa estudyante, kung may kapamaran ka sa buhay mo, iba ka dapat sa harap. Always remember that. Pag tamad ka, isa kang ganyan. Pagdating mo sa harap, hindi dapat ganun. Kasi ma-influence yung mga estudyante. Nakakaroon kami ng mga ganyan, nagagalit yung mga parents. Kasi nagre-reklamo yung mga estudyante, ba't ganun. Okay? So again, you should always reflect on the scores. Kapag hindi okay, think. Maybe your ways of teaching is not that okay to the students. Okay? Lalo na, sabi mo, Ma'am, we're training the students to become a college. They're not college. Hindi pa sila college. High school pa lang po sila. You need to train them, but you do not need to treat them. Magkaiba yung bini-baby. Sa hindi ginagawa ang trabaho, sa tinatamad ka, magkaiba yun. Sana po walang maging ganun sa inyo. 4th year na kayo, palabas na kayo. Sana po wala. Next, sub-classification of validity. When we say concurrent validity, a test has a concurrent validity if scores give correlation highly with the recognized external criterion. This measure the same area of knowledge or ability. So, tingnan muna natin yung construct validity. I-check natin. Pag construct validity naman, if scores can reflect a theory about the nature of a construction related to construct. Again, pag test validity, yung scores correlated highly with the recognized external criterion. So, concurrent kapag correlated. Pag construct validity naman, scores can reflect a theory about nature of the constructor. Again, reflect a theory, yung concurrent correlation. Next, content validity naman is important among the types of evidence to establish validity of the classroom test. Pag content validity, classroom test. Okay? Ito yung mga validity of classroom test. Convergent naman, it is to test to have convergent validity when there's a high correlation between scores achieved and those performed in a different test measuring the same construct. So, ano pinagkaiba? Balik tayo ulit. Pag concurrent, highly correlated with the recognized external criterion. Same knowledge daw siya. Ibig sabihin, magkaparehong exam, tas correlated. Pero pag convergent, magkaibang exam, pero correlated pa din. Okay? Criterion related naman, pag yung relationship between the assessment and another measure of the same trait. So, relationship siya ng assessment tsaka ng other. I think yung other measure, the same trait is the same as another assessment. Discriminant validity naman, a test is said to have discriminant validity if the correlation of it with test different trait is lower than the correlation with the test of the same trait. So, ito naman, kanina, may criterion validity, may relationship between assessment and another measure. Pero same trait. Pag discriminant, may validity, pero magkaibang trait. Face validity is it measures how test appears. Okay, pag face, yung face look. Okay, so how it looks like. And predictive validity, this test predicts future performance in a relevant skill. Ano ba yung mga relevant skill na yun? So, appropriateness of test items, tama po ba? Yung directions niyo po ba ay tama? My dear students, I know maraming teacher ang nanlilito sa directions, pero minsan sila mismo nakakalito ang directions nila. Hindi dahil sa nilito nila kayo, pero dahil sa nakakalito kasi mali-mali yung placing. Reading vocabulary and sentence structure, difficulty of items, construction of test items, length of the test. My dear students, when you make a test, it should be depende po sa hirap. Kailangan alam niyo kung paano. Sa akin kasi lagi lang 1 hour kaya naman. Always 60 items ako pag nagpapatest. So, kahit sa mga bata, dan sa junior high kasi ang gamit ko, 60 to 80. Masyado na mahaba yung 80. Pag siguro may essay, pero ayoko kasi na masyadong mahaba eh. Kasi mami-measure mo naman yun eh. Marami akong tas konti-konting measurement. Okay na yun. Length of the test must be 1 hour only, kung 1 hour. Ngayon, pag madami, for example, some of you, magiging teacher ng assessment, may mga math, edi, tsaka nyo na lang siya, maghingi kayo ng additional points, additional hour. Arrangement of test items, it should be easy, pahirap ng pahirap. Kasi daw, sabi, pag daw mahirap na agad sa umpisa, ang psychology daw niyan sa bata ay, di ko na nasagutan yung una, nakakatamad ng sagutan yung susunod. Okay, so, ganun daw dapat. Patterns of answer, ayan. Baka mamaya, tama, mali, tama, mali, tama, mali. Huwag naman ganun. Pag nalaman ng bata na tama, mali, or true, false, o ganun. There's also an example of that. may kinuwento yung teacher namin sa assessment. Meron daw siyang estudyante kasi assessment nagtuturo siya. So, ang nangyari daw, nung high school daw sila, yung teacher daw nila, nakita daw nila na yung ini-spell yung pangalan ng kamag-anak. Parang may ganun parang nagkakulo yung mga bata na ini-spell yung pangalan ng kamag-anak. So ngayon, ang ginawa ng mga bata, ni-research nila kung ano-ano pangalan ng mga kamag-anak. Tapos ayun, pumapasa sila. May mga ganun eh. For example, Patricia. Mga ganun. Minsan ganun yung nangyayari. So that's why your test must not have patterns. Now, if you will review this for your future quizzes, para hindi kayo malito, I think it's better to make a table para makita nyo kung ano yung pinagkaiba ng yung mga different validity. Next, reliability naman, it refers to the consistency and stability with which the test measures performance. Now, as you can see, during your test, tinitingnan ko kasi kung ano yung mga scores nyo. Yung section ng special topics A-B at saka yung langlit ng A-B ng BSED 4 A and B, same kayo eh. Same na yung halos dami ng naka-line of 4, naka-line of 3, naka-line of 2, at saka pa isa-isa lang yung 1. Okay, so no problem. Okay siya. Okay yung test. Ibig sabihin, both areas, both section, same sila. But, for example, nagkaroon tayo ng test. Yung, for example, yung BSED 4A, karamihan, naka-line of 5. Perfect. Kasi yung BSED 4B, hindi naka-perfect. Kumbaga parang naka-3 lang lahat. May problema. Kasi dapat siya, dahil same naman sila ng subject at ikaw lang pareho ang teacher. Same dapat ng grade. I mean, kasi hindi naman kayo yung mga matalino lang nandito sa kabila. Kasi yung mga hindi masyado and average, hindi naman ganun eh. It's a mixed. Mixed siya. So, ibig sabihin, kapag mixed, dapat same. Same lang. May mga ganito, may mga ganyan. May mga masisipag. Kaya both section, pag nagse-sectioning, naka-arrange yan dapat. Lahat ng mga naka-line of 9, mga ganon sa section. So, pag kunwari, for example, ikaw yung teacher ng dalawang section, and ang nangyari is, yung isang section mas mataas yung score nila compared to sa isang section, may problema. It's either, minadali mo yung turo mo doon sa kabila, or hindi mo siya naturo na maigi. Or, sad to say, may nagkopyahan. Isa kasi sa mga tinitignan ko, dahil ngayon mas madali na eh. Actually, tinitignan ko yung mga scores ninyo. Yung mga magkakabarkada sa inyo, tinitignan ko eh. Ngayon kasi madali na. For example, pareho kayo ng score. Kunwari, si Grisel, Kasilean. Kunwari, magkaklase sila. Si Grisel sa Kasilean. Pareho silang 43. Check ko yan. 43. Pareho. Oh my God. Pareho sila, pati mali. Okay lang yung tama eh. Pero yung mali, pareho din. Hindi pwede yun. Lalo na pag-identification, it's not good. Alam yung mga magjojowa, naku, isa pa yun. And alam kong barkada. So, kailangan chinecheck mo siya. Kasi ibig sabihin, may nagkokopyahan. Okay? Especially ngayon, online na lahat. Variables that influence test reliability. Okay? Ito yun. 1. Specificity. Test questions should not be open to different interpretation. Now, sa essay pwede to eh. Pero, dapat, isa lang ang sagot. Lagi. Kasi, it's hard to test that. Hindi pwede, for example, glass. Ngayon, if you will not put that on a context na lalagay mo siya sa sentence na alin dito sa dalawa yung tama, yung glass na to, yung glass na to. Glass as a glass of water or glass as in eyeglass. Makakalito. Tapos magagalit ka sa estudyante, kunwari glass lang nakalagay. Tapos ang nakalagay ay hindi yun yung tinutukoy mo. Check mo nga, baka magkaiba na interpretation. Kasi wag ka magagalit sa bata kung ikaw yung mali. Kasi yung mga bata, of course, they've been thinking of different synonymous things eh. Kasi lalo na hindi nila na-encounter. Okay? Kaya minsan may questions talaga. Differentiate. The test discriminates between good and needy students. Okay? So sabi nila, the test will not define a person. Yes, of course. Grades won't define a person. Yes, hindi po. They would not define kung mabait ka or magiging successful ka. Of course not. Hindi naman po talaga. Anong nade-define ng test? Kung nag-review yung bata, one. Kung yung bata ay nagsisipag, or matalino yung bata. My dear students, kaya nga, ang test, ang grade, hindi naman yung minimeasure ang pagkatao. Pero, yung mga estudyante na alam mong bumabagsak, alam mong tamad. For example, ginawa mo na lahat, supportive yung parents. Of course, tinatanong-tanong yun eh, kayo po ba ay okay lang, ganyan, ganyan. Okay, I will give you a scenario. Sa grades to mayroon akong estudyante, nasa Japan siya, pumunta siya dito ng Philippines. Tapos, bumagsak yung mga grades niya. Of course, the parent will not be happy. Sino ba naman yun? Top student, biglang bagsak sa Philippines, di ba? Now, let's check, ano ba ang naging problema? Hindi ba nagre-review sila? Mabait yung bata, walang problema. Pero ano naging problema? Marami palang internal factors. It doesn't define the personality, pero it defines na may problem. When there is a grade of 75, 74, 73, there's a problem with the student. It's either one, external family factor. Number two, hindi okay. Pag kunwari, kalahati na section mo ay hindi pumasa, sa'yo may problema yung teacher. Pag mo sasabihin na, lalo na, for example, subject mo lang, ikaw lagi yung problema tuwing deliberation, subject at subject mo lang, may problema sa'yo. Tingnan mo. Okay? Check it. Huwag kang magalit agad sa bata. I-check mo, may problema sa'yo. Okay? Always remember that. Hindi naman laging kasalanan ng estudyante kahit makulit sila Check mo. Okay? Problem yan kapag kunwari ikaw lang yung isa. Next one is, of course, the internal. Nowadays, may mental health problem ang mga bata. Normal na ang nagkakaroon ng mental health problem. Why? Because they are neglected sa family. Babalik tayo sa family. Or sometimes, hindi naman sila neglected, nasa history ng family nila. May mga iba naman na ganon. Meron din naman na friendship, being bullied. So, of course, doon sa mga different factors na yon, that will determine kung bakit mababa ang score ng bata. May iba tamad. Bakit sila tamad? They do not have the why power. Why do I need to study? Makakapasa naman ako. Maybe you need to change the mentality of the student. Diba? Pwede mo i-change siya. Anak, alam mo, kahit mayaman kayo ngayon, hindi mo naman alam kung mayaman ka hanggang mag-college ka. Bakit hindi ka mag-aral? Kasi pag nag-aral ka mabuti at nagkaroon kayo ng financial problem, pwede ka mag-scholar. Sayang. At saka ano bang gusto mo? Minsan kailangan mo silang kino-convince, especially if you're the subject, their advisor. Okay? Pwede mo rin sabihin sa kanila na hindi mo gusto daw, meron akong estudyante, gusto daw maging seaman. Ano bang grade mo, anak? 75, 74, 73. Anak, sino tatanggap sa'yo? Totoo naman yun Yung mga schools, kasi kapag tumanggap sila ng mga estudyante na matatalino, tsak yun. Na mga pagmatataas yung mga grades, lalo na doon sa mga school na talagang kilala, tsak yun. Pag konti na lang yung magiging nila, ito yun this is it. Pag tumanggap ka ng mga estudyante na matatalino na, magaganda na yung grades, maayos sila, masipag, ganyan. Kahit konti lang ang i-input mo sa bata during the college student will have the initiative, tataas ang board exam. Pero kapag tumanggap ka ng mga bata na line of 7 ang grades, nakita mo ang attitude ay B, C, D, di mahirapan ka doon. Kahit anong input mo, pag hindi na sila masaya sa kanilang subject, mag-aalis, di ba? Paano pag board exam? May board exam yun. Kaya yung graduate, di ba? So, yun kasi yun. So, it doesn't define, the grades doesn't define the person. Of course, it doesn't. But, grades define something else. Kahit sabihin mo, masipag. Okay, masipag ka, pero before, hindi ka masipag. Kaya yun Kaya ganun dapat. Kaya kailangan yung estudyante natin, i-reflect na, and as a student as well, student kayo, magre-reflect kayo. Titingnan yung TOR nyo. Kung ako ba employer, i-hire ko to. Ang daming mga nagpo-post sa Facebook, I will hire. Basta masipag. Paano ba makikita ang sipag? Sa interview, hindi naman, di ba? Hindi naman makikita, masipag to. Itsura nito, mukhang maglilinis to eh. Hindi naman ganun, di ba? Grades ang tinitignan. Di ba? So you could change the students' mentality sa grades. Kaya kailangan nila mag-aral mabuti. Because maybe they want to be a scholar for financial sake, yung mga ganung bagay. Makatipid yung magulang, tumulong sa magulang, and everything. Difficulty. The test has an adequate level of difficulty. Kailangan naman, yung test, hindi lang ba, pahirapan ko to. Ayok sa mga estudyante kong to. Hindi ganun. Kailangan, walang pikon. Sabi nga nila, na-teacher ka pero pikon ka. Hindi pwede. Kailangan, you should have the appropriate difficulty. May madali, pahirap, na pahirap. Pero hindi po yan, exam nyo po ay hindi naman entrance exam na kailangan ng pahirapan ng estudyante. Tsaka depende din po sa inyong itinuro. Okay? Length, test, of course, enough test items, of course. Time, students have sufficient time to perform a task. Kaya, for example, ako nagpa-drawing. 90 items ang identification. Tapos may drawing ka na 20 items. Ay, grabe yun na. Ang dami, ang hirap na na. Kasi nagsulat, isip-isip, tapos may pa-drawing ka pa ng mga So, dapat i-check mo din. Kaya ba yun ng isang oras lang? Hindi yata. Check mo. Item construction, a well-constructed question is better than a poor one. So, when you make a item construction, be sure that it is good. That the students could understand it. If you're not good in English, you could ask other person to check it for you. At wag ka mapipikon pag nakita nila may mali dun sa grammar mo, tas nagalit ka, huwag naman ganun. Hindi nila maintindihan eh. Ano gusto mo? Hindi nila inedit, tapos yung bata nakita. Minsan may ganun eh. Nakita ng bata, pinagtatawanan nila. Oh, ma'am, hindi ko maintindihan. Kakalat ka pa. Diba? So if you're not good in English, you could ask a colleague of yours to check it for you. Kung wala man kayong check. Okay, so para madali. What are the common statistical formulas? Of course, we have the statistics. It is a branch of mathematics. It deals with numbers and data analysis. It is the study of the collection, analysis, interpretation, presentation, and organization of data. The statistical theory defines a statistic as a function of sample where the process itself is independent for this distribution. My dear students, before, I hate statistics. Ayoko niyan. At actually, hanggang ngayon din naman. Kaya lang, when it comes to research, pag naka-stat siya, iniiwasan to stat. Iniiwasan to ng mga researcher. Pero, pag nagre-research na kayo, statistics is better than the others. Why? Kasi, numbers don't lie. Right? And also, yung numbers na yon, may analysis na, may interpretation pa, and presentation, organization of data. Na, kapag nakuha mo na-check mo na lahat ng mga respondents, nabilang mo na, lalabas na yan, analysis. At hindi ka nila makokontra dyan. Kasi ito yung interpretation. That is why, sa mga advisory ko, lagi kong sinasabi sa kanila, manap kayo ng test na instrument na nandun na, and para pati interpretation nandun na. Ngayon, hindi nyo na kailangan magbayad ng statistician. Or, if ever, you could explain yourself. There are studies na, based on my experience, I have a classmate, hindi na siya nagpa-statistician. Kasi, naglagay ng instruction, yung nakuha niyang test, instrument, naglagay ng instruction, how to compute. Wala na siyang binayad. Nag-defense siya, final defense, wala rin tinanong sa kanya. Kasi, it is already given. Unlike pag walang statistics, maraming interpretation. Marami, sobra. And of course, yung number, kahit sabihin mong 15, ang tanong naman, sobrang dami. Okay? Descriptive statistics ang tawag kapag Generally about the test scores. N indicates the number of tests reviewed, minimum singles, or the lowest score from population. Means refer to the average score. Standard deviation is the mean deviation of the values. And then they offer a general idea about the test scores. General idea lang siya. Correlation naman kapag a correlation indicates the strength and direction of a linear relationship between two random variables. So magkaibang variable yan. Relationship statistic significant, perfect positive correlation gives a value of 1, and perfect negative correlation gives a value of negative 1. The stronger the correlation or the stronger the relationship between variables, of course, yun yun. And a correlation is weak if the number is closer to 0. So now, dito pa lang, pag nagkaroon ka ng correlation sa inyong research, madali mo na makikita. Perfect positive, value of, ibig sabihin, correlated sila. Ibig sabihin, yung lesson mo, tama. Ibig sabihin, yung research mo, okay. Yung tinest mo, may relationship talaga, which will give you the easiest answer. It is found out that there is a relationship between grades and reading comprehension. Diba? So, madali na. Hindi mo na kailangan ng ano-ano pa man. Tapos, pag hindi naman correlated, it is found out that there is no correlation. Diba? Madali. Item reliability. It indicates the discriminatory potential of a test item. Does it differentiate between the ables and least able test takers? So, reliability natin. So, yun nga yung dinidiscuss ko sa inyo, titignan nila doon sa item reliability if nagtutugma yung dalawa. For example, itong si yun kasi tinitignan eh. Actually, lagi tinitignan yung highest scorer. Okay, so yung laging highest dito, kala nyo kayo lang ang tumitingin. Pati teacher, tinitignan niya. Tinitignan nila. For example, ang highest scorer sa kabila ay si Joanna. Ano score ni Joanna? 43 over 50. 43 over 50. Naku po, mababa. Doon pa lang eh, ang unang checkan yung lagi mataas. Hanap pa tayo. Sino pa yung mataas ang score dyan? Ma'am, si Grisel po. Ano score ni Grisel? Ma'am, 43. Oh my God, 43. Hindi maganda yun ah. Dalawang mataas ang score, 43 lang? Okay. Ngayon naman, next tayo, yung pinakamababa. Ano score ni, kunwari lang ni Patrick? Ano po ma'am? 40. Ano? 40? Mataas? How about the others? Second mababa, kunwari. Si Burak. Ano score ni Burak? Ano ma'am? 50. Ay. Dalawa yan. It's either i-reliability mo. Yung mga usual na nakaka-exam na mataas, mababa. Pero yung usual na nakaka-exam na mababa, mataas, there's something wrong. You need to recheck. Pero that doesn't mean na hindi, ay ma'am, porket ano ngayon, hindi naman cheating, hindi ganun. I-check mo lang yung item. Baka mamaya, mali. And then you could interview the two. Miss Joanna, bakit mababa yung score mo? Ay ma'am, di po ako nakapag-review, pasensya na. How about you, Grisel? Bakit nababa score mo? Eh ma'am, kasi po, namatayan ako ng computer. Okay. So yun, you have the verb. Okay. So ibig sabihin, since there is an external factor, hindi factors ang exam, ibig sabihin, okay yung exam. Talagang yun ang mga scores nila. Talagang wala. Pero pag kunwari, ni-review mo, malimali yung mga direction. Yung pala, si Patrick tsaka si Burak, nang hula lang. Nasakto na nasa kanilang kapalaran ngayon. Ayun, pag gano'n lang nangyari, may problema yung exam. Hindi siya reliable. Yun yung tinitingnan natin. So, that's all for our discussion. So, teka lang. Qualitative analysis tayo. Actually, marami pa tayong mga lesson pa eh. Teka lang Unit 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So, actually, my dear students, next week na natin di-discuss tong qualitative analysis. Pero tong 7, 8, actually tong 7, 8, 9, isang diretso lang to eh. So, ganun na lang gagawin ko dun sa third meeting natin after. Pero to isa lang. Isang week, next week, 7, 8. I think 7, 8, tapos another week yung 9 natin. So, stop sharing tayo. And let's have Do you have any questions?